Today's makeup tutorial is inspired by the Vintage Vamp collection from Charlotte Tilbury. These deep, dark, sultry tones make a perfect night out makeup or maybe something for a special occasion. We're going bold here, dark eyes and dark lips, but I think you can handle it. Starting with skin prep, I'm going to dampen the skin and then hydrate with a moisturizer. I find this just makes makeup go on so much more smoothly. My lips were feeling a little bit dry as well. Since we are going to be using dark colours, I'm going to go in with a bit of a lip balm just to hydrate while we are working. I'm going to be mixing two foundations today using the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder foundation mixed together with a couple of drops of the Cover FX Custom Cover Drops. I just like the coverage that you get. Since we are going to be using darker tones, I really want to perfect that skin. I find that it's best just to pat the makeup in with your fingers, really working it in, and then you can go in with a beauty blender just to do any final blending. Further perfecting the skin with the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. A little goes a long way with this product, so I like to apply a small amount with my finger and then really work it in with a brush. Make sure you really get into that inner corner of your eye where you can get that shadowing and darkness, and making sure to get that outer corner where you can also have a little bit of extra darkness or redness there. I'll be using whatever's left over to also conceal some of my blemishes. Again, we're going for as perfect skin as we can get, and unfortunately mine isn't perfect naturally. Can we take a moment to admire this packaging? The Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in shade Medium 2 is a gorgeous powder, really dusting this lightly, mainly underneath the eyes to set that concealer, and then also my T-zone just to keep my makeup in place because I'm a little bit oily. Bold eyes need bold brows, or at very least defined brows. I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz just to lightly fill in my brows. I'm trying not to go too over the top, just using short strokes to fill in any sparse areas, elongate my brow because it needs it, and just overall make it look defined. Making sure to brush through that product as well with the spoolie so that it all looks natural. I'm going to be using the Gimme Brow from Benefit. This I find I need to remove a lot of excess product, but once it goes in, it just gives my brows that really textured look, adds a bit of texture back that may have been lost with the pencil. The star of the show is of course the Vintage Vamp Quad, some gorgeous shades here, really deep plummy tones. Starting off with the shade number 1, the Prime shade. I'm going to be blending this all over the lid and up to the brow as a base for our shadows. These are a little bit shimmery for me. Usually I'd like to use a matte colour for this step, but we're going to work with what we've got. Taking a small amount of the Enhance shade just on a fluffy brush and dusting off any excess on the back of my hand, I'm going to start working this into the outer corner and the outer part of my lid. We're going to be going for a halo placement here, so I will be also putting this on the inner corner. You want to start off slowly with these eyeshadows, just slowly blending them in, working them up. You can always go back in and add more colour as you need it, but I find that less is more, particularly when working with dark eyeshadows. Using what product is left on the brush just to sweep across the crease to define it, I'm also going to be slowly pulling that eyeshadow out in the corner to create a V or a wing-like shape. I'll be using a clean brush in between shades just to blend out any harsh lines, keeping the look really soft and diffused. Going in with a more tapered brush, I'm using the Smoke shade, again taking off any excess, and I'm going to be applying that in the outer corners of the eyes and the inner corners of the eyes. We're going for a more of a gradient look, so we're going to have the lighter colour in the centre and then slowly work out to the deepest colours in the very far corners of the eye. Just working slowly in a V shape, and I'm also going to be dragging that eyeshadow along the outer part of the lower lash line. We'll be mimicking the placement of the upper lid with the lower lash line as well. Of course, go back in and blend as necessary. This is one of those looks where you can blend, add more colour, blend, add more colour. It's just going to be slowly working up to get the result that you want. Applying the Smoke shade and then using the Enhance shade to blend out the lower lash line, again keeping it to the first third and the last third of your eye. We're then going back into the centre with that Prime shade. I'm just using the tip of a flat shader brush for precision and just applying that in the centre to mimic that upper lash line. Since we don't have a matte transition shade to work with, I'm going to be taking the original face powder on a fluffy brush and using that as a bit of a brow highlight and also to blend out any excess product that we have, particularly if you've come up a little bit too high with the darker colours. I'm then going in with an eye kohl. This is the Barbarella Bronze Eye Kohl. Really nice brown colour. I'm going to try and keep it to a really fine line across the upper lashes, and then I'm going to wedge it out slightly at the end and use a brush to smooth it out, creating a little little bit of a wing, not really, more just like a thicker wedge shape. You really want to work that product in between the lashes, just going back and forth between the brush and the pencil. Now that we're pretty much done with the eyes, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of concealer that's left over on my brush and clean up that outer edge to give it a more defined look. Then it is of course time for lashes, a little bit of curling, and we're going to be using the Full Fat Lashes Mascara by Charlotte Tilbury. This, she claims, is the best mascara in the world. I think that's pretty lofty claims, but it is a pretty decent mascara. I'm going to be applying this to both the top and lower lashes, particularly making use of the 5-star shape in the end of the brush to really pull out the lashes in the outer corners. I'm also going to be turning the brush vertically to coat those lower lashes. For a last little pop of glitter, I'm going to be taking the Pop shade. I find that this works best if you use your finger, so I'm just applying a little bit of that into the center of the lid for a little bit of extra glimmer and glam and shimmer. I do like the look of this, although I find that these aren't overly pigmented, and in hindsight I would probably do the eyes before the foundation because this glitter gets everywhere. I'm also going to be using a damp brush to apply this in the inner corner. I find that you really have to work through the product to try and build up any kind of opacity, then swiping away any excess glitter. Again, this can be avoided if you do your eyes first. Lesson learned. Going back to the skin, I'm going to be taking the famous Film Star Bronze and Glow, first using the bronzer shade, which I find works best if you use a large fluffy brush and really dust off any excess product. A little goes a long way with this product. I'm using this to sculpt the face and add a little bit of warmth, really applying it to the temples, along the cheekbones, and then down under the jawline. I will go back in with a slightly smaller, more defined brush to apply a little bit more of the product just into the hollows of my cheekbones to really amp up that contoured look. For a little bit of added glow that a vintage vamp of course would need, I'm going to be using the highlight shade, just running this down the center of my face. Charlotte Tilbury likes to draw a line kind of from her forehead all the way down the nose to the cupid's bow, so I tried that little placement there and I quite like the way that it looks. This is a nice, quite intense, slightly shimmery highlighter, so if you do like your intense highlights, I think you'll enjoy this. Popping the product on the cheekbones as well. If you do prefer a softer highlight, you can always blend it out or go back in with a little bit of foundation to cover it up. To add a touch of colour to the cheeks, because, well, why not, I'm going to use the Cheek to Chic Swish and Pop blusher in Love is a Drug, just using the outer shade on the backs of the cheekbones and then popping in the deeper pink shade in the centre, just as a little touch of colour to the apples of the cheeks. Finally, it's time for our bold lips, starting off with a lip liner. Charlotte Tilbury says that you should never wear a lip product without a lip liner. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I do like these lip liners. This is the Lip Cheat in Savage Rose. It's a nice red colour. Then of course we do have the lipstick. I adore the packaging of these lipsticks. This is the shade Night Crimson, and I'm applying it first from the bullet, and I'm going in with Charlotte's lip brush. It has a nice square edge just to further define the edge of the lips, neaten it up and smooth out any edges. I hadn't used a square lip brush before, but I find that this really does make getting a defined line really simple. Go big or go home is what I always say, so why not add a touch of dark lip gloss? This is the shade Unleash Me, and it gives a really patent look to the lips. I love the actual look of this. I think that while it is a little bit more high maintenance than leaving it at just the lipstick, you do have to be careful not to get it on your teeth. It is a stunning look overall. Vintage Vamp makeup needs Vintage Vamp hair, so I've just pulled it down. It's kind of got messy second day curls, so I'm going to be spraying a little bit of the Oribe dry texturizing spray, messing it up, and then that's pretty much it. You're good to go with your Vintage Vamp look. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing these Charlotte Tilbury products in action. While it is a dramatic look, I don't think it's too over the top, and I love the placement of those eyeshadows. Having that halo look with the really warm kind of golden tone in the center and then the deeper shades on the outer corners really pop. It's eye-catching and I love it. If you give this look a go, make sure you tag me in any social media posts. A list of all the products used will be listed in the description box below, along with all my social media links. Make sure you come say hi. And other than that, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye!